Well, when it comes to religion, I am a ominist. I was always an ominist growing up, even though I went to Catholic school. Sometimes they call me a heretic ominist because I was baptized. They claim everyone who was baptized has a chance to come back to the faith. But there's the constitutional rights and laws of the USA I live in. I'm a private citizen then, and freedom of religion. And growing up, I was a bit of a rebel in school, and like I said, I was always studying other religions, especially with martial arts and Western philosophies. And then sports and working out, I got into yoga and even did philosophies there. But I always kept up with my Christian philosophy. Knowing the back attack and the, knowing the stories and the Golden Rule and Ten Commandments from the Old Testament versus the New Testament and things Jesus preached about and his whole story. And then, I do get into the philosophy, the theory, the conspiracies of the religion. But I wanted to talk about, the devil shows up in more places than Catholicism and Catholic religions. And so I wanted to discuss, from my charts, the contemplation of the devil. Because I myself, even though I am the existential designer and have the charts from which they use, I still, I don't know. And I'll tell you why. Okay. Here is, there is where a small version of where the characters are. Versus the rest of the chart, there's 676 squares in the ZZ, which I used. But then all the letters themselves actually come from the word source. And that space there is where I blew it up bigger here and even showed the colorization that I used. But in this word source, here's the free space, which then I did, which is outside where there are no characters. Okay? And there's 16 of those. And, but there's 20 spaces around. Okay, and it's the word source, so it's used for many things and in all realms of it, almost like an acronym, pun, backronym of architecture and geometry. Okay, so there's the V that way, and remember that is 4 fives. There's a 5, there's a 5, and then the 2, 3, and then the 3, 2. So there's 4 fives. Okay, surrounding this 9I here, and then the L notions. Obviously this one is more of the erect and correct L, but then the same thing here. Okay. So that's where I think the depiction of the devil comes from. And a lot of notation on the 2 H's. The 2 is 121 human being notion of above the ground. And then versus 2 H's versus 21U on it. And death. Okay. Of course, most of this is known, the bottom corner AA is the murder notion. And then the flat of it is the stipulation straight. And then the kill is, in fact, the impalements. The impalement stipulations. Okay, and then the from there, right here, sums up all of it with the straight and then an impalement plus a murder statement of the bottom corner. Why is it murder? And they vote on the definition because AA is the seeker. So they made the philosophy about the bottom corner and the seeker. Okay, it's illegal to seek to murder, to stab downward in bottom corner. That's illegal. It goes against the law. Okay, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. This area, this 4 5s. And this V versus, are they talking about that V or the LV, which is many times used? And that's two different states. The 20 around T versus the two sides. Okay. So, and of course the fallen angel notions. And such. Yeah, I don't know which V they're talking about. Is that relevant? In a way. Maybe it does bring up the subject matter of the two states of the word source. And then into philosophy and reality, and then what they voted on and meaning and such. Of course, I'm an omnist, because you can easily see brown, blue, and then L to the 5E. And then the 9, you know, the Bible going that way. But then the Quran and Allah and Muhammad and Islam going that way. And then J there. The 2 is 121. Judaism. Okay, but also Hindu. Hindu and witchcraft. Greek philosophies, and so on and so forth. Even voodoo. Many other religions discuss spiritual journeys. You know, it goes on and on. That's why I'm an ominist. Okay. But yeah, when it comes to the depiction of the devil, the fallen angel, a representative of death and hell, yeah, I'm not sure what V that is.